Do you think that you would not be able to get a great rank, or you can never get a good branch, or that you cannot enter a premier institute like AIIMS or PGI? If yes, this video is for you. I'm Dr. Praveen Tripathi. I'm a faculty of Psychiatry, author of the book Review of Psychiatry. And in last 8-9 years, since I have been in this teaching profession, I have asked multiple students to kind of evaluate themselves. I always ask them, what kind of a student are you? And the answer is almost always that they are average students, they are mediocre students. Now, because they consider themselves as mediocre students, their dreams also have to be mediocre. They cannot dream something big. And many of them always end up saying that I cannot even think of radiology or orthopedics, and I cannot even think of going into AIIMS or PGI because I am an average student. Now this pattern of thinking is extremely flawed. And let me tell you why. When you guys are in your schools, most of you are, of course, either toppers or one amongst the toppers. You would never call yourself an average student in the school. And the fact that you were able to clear the cutthroat entrance examination, that you were able to clear the PMT examination and get into a medical college is in itself a testimony to the fact that you were not an average student. You were a good student. Now the thing is, once these so-called average students, once these so-called good students enter into the medical college, everybody else is as good. And when everybody is good, of course, you become an average student. The interesting thing is that tag of average, of being an average student, sticks to you very strongly. With time, you start believing that you are an average student. Most of you don't even try to become a topper in the professional examinations. If there's a batch of 100 students or 150 students, I would say hardly 4 or 5 students are trying to become the topper. Rest of them are happy just passing the examination or passing the examination comfortably. That is what most of us aim for, which is fine. I think it is fine because it does not really matter whether you got 60% marks in your second prof or 70% marks. Nobody asks for those percentages later on. So in a way it is fine. The problem is, man is a creature of habit. For 4.5 years, if you continue to consider yourself a mediocre student, when you reach that stage of internship or when you start preparing for the entrance examination, that tag is playing heavily in your mind. You start to believe that you are an average student. And then when you start making goals that this is the examination I want to target, or this is the subject, or this is the branch that I want to postgraduate in, that tag of average, of being an average student or being a mediocre student, is just always playing in your mind, and that stops you from dreaming. And students, if you cannot dream, you cannot achieve it. This is a fundamental rule, universal rule, that you can only get what you can dream of. More importantly, this tag of mediocrity is a false tag. Again, ask yourself, put a hand on your heart and ask yourself, did you give your best during those professional examinations? Did you give your best during those university examinations? The answer for the vast majority of you would be no. All you cared for was passing the examination, and that is why most of you just passed the examination. It does not mean in any way that you did not have the capability to excel in those examinations. It did not mean in any way that the topper of your batch was better than you. It did not mean in any way that you were worse than the topper or you were not as good as the topper. It simply means that you did not give your best, and that is also fine. As I said, it does not really matter how much marks did you score in the examination. But now that you are preparing for the entrance examination, now that you want to get into a premier college, it does matter that that branch is gonna stay with you for the rest of your life. So this 1 year you cannot be mediocre. For this 1 year you cannot be average. You have to go back to that mindset of the PMT days when you used to believe that you can do it, and when you used to believe that you are an extraordinary student, because you are. The reality is that you are an extraordinary student, right? Just because you did not perform to the best of your capability does not stop you from having those capabilities. As I often say that the form is temporary but the class is permanent. And that is true for the medical students. They belong to the class of extraordinary. They may or may not have performed so well in the professional years, but that does not make them ordinary people. And again, I love this story. I often talk about this story. In psychiatry also we talk about something called as Hanuman complex. If you are into mythology, in Hindu mythology, it is said that Lord Hanuman was cursed by somebody, some saint, that he would not be able to remember his real powers unless somebody reminded him of his powers. And I believe all the medical students carry that Hanuman complex. They do not really remember how powerful they are, how good they are, how brilliant they are, how extraordinary they are. And somebody needs to tell them that you are not an average guy. You were always an extraordinary guy and you can achieve extraordinary things. And if you don't believe me, look at the facts. This is a very well-known fact that toppers of the colleges do not always end up as toppers in the entrance examinations. In fact, see, I keep on interviewing all these people who get into AIIMS PG or get good ranks, top 100, top 50. Many of them were average students. The only difference in the way they prepared for the entrance examination and the way they prepared for the professional examination was, this time they went for the kill. They did not say that I just want to scrape through this examination. They said to themselves that I want to kill this examination. I want to get a really good result. And that is why they were able to get that good result. So if you are having this thought in your mind that you cannot do it, you are mistaken. If you think that you cannot get into AIIMS or PGI, you are mistaken. If you think that you cannot get radiology, dermatology or orthopedics, you are mistaken. Get out of the slumber. You have been an extraordinary person and this is the time to prove yourself again. And trust me guys, this is just a matter of 1 year. I know you are bored of listening to this sentence again and again. From the class 10th you were told that this is the last time you have to prepare, but this time it really, I really mean it, because this 1 year will set the course of your life. This 1 year will decide whether you end up being a guy who is doing a great branch or settling for something that you never wanted to. And this 1 year probably would be the most important year of your life, because this is the year where things get decided. So this is not the time to feel discouraged. This is not the time to doubt on self. This is not the time to set lesser goals. This is the time to perform to the best of your capabilities. And I often say that work so hard that you have a story to tell to your juniors, to your spouse, to your kids, that for that 1 year I went completely crazy. I could not think of anything but studies. I could not think of anything but that entrance examination, and I did not stop till I got what I always wanted. I hope you would listen to this advice, students, and would perform to the best of your capabilities. Thank you. God bless.